So hello my friends, welcome to PhotographyPX. I'm your host Devon Lennox, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys in one simple tool how to smooth skin in Adobe Photoshop. Alright, so here we are. Let's kind of scroll over to Adobe Photoshop. Alright, I have the image loaded up before. I'm going to show you guys the before and after right now of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using the blur tool today. But I'm going to show you guys a couple of tips and tricks with using the blur tool to maximize its efficientness. And let's knock this out in a couple of minutes here. So let me head over to layers panel and show you guys the before and after. So scroll over here and before and after, before, after, before, after, before, after. So I did this technique on the entire skin, so you guys can see the whole thing. But yes, today we're going to be using Gaussian Blur to do this. So a couple of caveats before I get started here. I am using a Wacom tablet. This is the medium size, and I have the Wacom tablet set up so that it's got some function keys that are already set up. So you'll see me as I start getting into this. Occasionally changing the brush size, which I'm going to be doing using the Wacom tablet, and then I'll also be zooming and using the hand tool doing that, so you won't really be seeing me do a lot of stuff. Anytime that I go over here and I'm doing something on the computer, I will let you guys know though. Alright, so let's get this set up. I'm going to just kind of minimize that. So the first thing that you guys are going to need to do after you load in your photo is going to be to duplicate your background layer. So we're going to go right here, right click, duplicate layer. The next thing, you're going to go up here. Let me actually come out of full screen because I need to see the blur. So you're going to go into filter, and we're going to scroll down to blur, and we're going to do Gaussian blur. The biggest thing that you're doing when you're using Gaussian blur, you're going to set the radius here in terms of pixels, and I would definitely encourage that you zoom in and you look at the face here. You're going to set the radius. By default, it's going to be at 0.1. You're going to set the radius to a point where you can't actually see any more of the pores on the model or the subject skin. For me, basically 5.6 to 6 was kind of where I felt that it was good. But basically you're just setting the blur amount in terms of pixels, the radius, to a point where you can't see any of the blemishes, the spots, the pimples, any of that stuff, the pores. You can't see any of that stuff. So for me, 5.6 is what I set it to. We're going to go over here and hit OK. The next thing after you do that, we're going to actually go up here to the blend mode. We're going to change that from normal, which is what it's set to by default, and we're going to set that to multiply. The next thing after that, and I'll explain why I'm setting it to multiply here shortly. The next thing we're going to do is go down here and we're going to hit our mask. We're going to actually hold down the Alt key or Option key on Mac and make sure we hit the mask button so that we're setting a black mask. So the reason why I'm setting this layer to multiply, which I'm then going to change later, is because I want to, when we start brushing on the mask, to basically show or reveal the layer underneath. If you set it to multiply, it actually, once you start painting on the subject's face, it allows you to basically see an overlay of where you're actually applying the effect. And I'll show you that, guys. I'll show you guys that right now. So what we're going to do, I hit the B key on my keyboard to go into the brush tool. By default, it's going to be just set to this round brush right here. Hardest 100%, opacity 100%, flow 100%. All of those values are totally fine. The only thing that we're going to do is adjust the size, which I'm going to be doing on my Wacom tablet as we kind of go along. By default, 80 pixels is fine. So you'll notice as I start brushing, you'll start to see this weird overlay that kind of has this orangey color. That's why I set the layer to multiply. It allows us to basically see and get a better idea of where we're actually applying the effect. So you're just going to see me just start applying the effect. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to paint in all of the areas of the skin that we want to blur. The biggest thing with doing this technique, you want to make sure you don't apply it to edges, you don't apply it to hair, you don't apply it to eyebrows, you do not apply it to the eyes or the outer of the eyes, do not apply it to the line here on the nose, do not apply it to the nostrils, do not apply it to the lips or the outer surrounding lips or teeth, and you don't want to apply it to just literally any edges. So over here where my mouse is, do not apply it to these edges of the fingers, because it will blur the edges and it will look really obvious that you're applying this effect. So we want to be very careful. You guys will kind of see me as I go along how I am applying the effect from top to bottom. I'm not going to apply it to these edges. I'm not going to hit the eyebrows. And I'm going to skip the eyes. I do not want the eyes. So what I'm doing here with the brush tool, by default it's set to white, and you can press the X key on your keyboard to change it from white to black. So I'm painting on the mask layer we have over here, mask layer. I'm painting white to reveal the contents of the mask, which is our Gaussian blur. And I'm just going to apply it to the face. You don't have to be very super careful with this. Just kind of apply it rigorously, wherever you want the effect to be applied, which is just going to be all of the skin, honestly, all of the skin. And yeah, you guys are going to just kind of see me just kind of go through, and I will show you what I did here. I'm not going to do it absolutely perfectly, just because I want to save some time here, and I don't want to bore you guys with me just brushing away. But I will show you exactly the areas where I do actually apply this effect, so you know where to apply them. And I think that's super important. You can see that I'm missing the lips. I'm not hitting the flowers in her hair. I'm going to scroll down, and we're going to start to hit the lower body. Down over here, we can increase our brush size a little bit to make it a little bit easier. I'm actually going to hide the layers too, so you guys have a better idea what's going on. I'm not doing anything else besides just painting, so you guys don't need to see the layers. We can totally hide that. Okay, just brushing away. There are faster techniques to do this. However, this is by far the easiest way. There's a lot of other techniques that get you better results, but that take significantly longer than doing this. This literally takes, it's just a little bit slow because I'm recording a video, but this literally takes like 3 or 4 minutes. It's super fast. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna fix that here shortly. Totally hit that flower. Wasn't paying attention. Okay, and we're gonna do it to the arm a little bit over here as well. Okay. So if you end up making a mistake and you hit an edge, like say right here, I hit an edge, what you're gonna do is you're gonna press X on your keyboard, and then you're going to basically use black, which is gonna erase that area. So I'm gonna just hit X, and then hit X again, and now we're gonna paint white. And we're gonna just paint. Okay, I'm not gonna hit the edge of her arm and her chest, because that would cause some issues as well. Okay. Cool beans. Coolio Brulio. Alright, so something sort of like that should be good. Maybe paint a little bit on this arm right here. Alright, cool. Cool. Alright, so let's open up our layers panel again. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to our layer blend mode, and we're going to change this to Lighten. Alright, so what Lighten actually does, it's going to lighten the Gaussian blur layer that we did, but with that, it's not going to affect the texture as much. And the reason why I choose to do this rather than just leaving it on normal is because I find that the effect is a little bit more realistic, and it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't look as superficial. I'll show you guys this is more of a close-up. Let me zoom in right here, and you guys can see the difference when I change it from Lighten to normal. So that's Lighten, this is normal. You see what I'm saying? It just keeps more of the texture. So if you guys don't want to do it that way, that's fine. But that's the way that I end up doing it. So I put this here at Lighten, and I leave it at 100% opacity. You're welcome to adjust and change this if you think the effect is too strong. But now if you're saying to yourself like, okay, well, you know, this looks good, this is a big improvement, but like, what if I want it to be even more like soft and even more blurred and even smoother? What you're going to do then is you're going to right click on the layer, and you're going to hit duplicate layer, and then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to actually set this from Lighten to normal, and then now it's going to have more of a porcelain type effect, and then you're going to just reduce the opacity of that normal layer, and that'll get you the maximum blurriness, or however much blurriness that you want. For me, I did the combination of both of these, and I set it to about 40% opacity, and that's how we ended up getting that result right there. So there you go. That's the way to do that. Yeah, I think I set it to about maybe 40%. Oh, I left it at 100% just to make it easier for you guys to see it. But yeah, you could just set that to 40%, and boom, you are good to go. So I will show you guys, let me group this in, what we did right now, and show you the before and after. Before, after, before, after, and we'll scroll down. After, before, after. It's mostly apparent on the face because that's where we're kind of really going really hard. All right. That wraps up that. That wraps up that. Okay, so I hope this there was some value added in this technique for you guys. I hope this added another quiver to your tool belt when you're editing photos and you're out there in the field and in the hunt just trying to figure out how to do stuff. By all means, if you're new here, consider subscribing if you haven't already. Please leave a like, comment in the description. Let us know, you know, what are your thoughts with this technique? Is there anything that I missed? Leave that in the comment description down below. And as always, my friends, peace out. And we'll see you in the next one.